Hi, everyone. We're back today with Find Your Purpose and Create a Business Summit. And today I am so lucky to have LisaDePamphilis here, and she's a business coach. But let me tell you a lot about her. Lisa guides female entrepreneurs to stand in their infinite power and activate their superhuman abilities. And who would not want that? Now is the time to release old ways of creating so you can experience a new way to seamlessly up-level the unfoldment of your reality. It's time to be all that you came here to be. Lisa's mission in this lifetime is to help you come home to your truth so you can evolve in consciousness, open pathways, shift timelines, and shine the light on your highest possibilities. Her gift of working with sacred geometry and light codes refines crystalline particles within your DNA structure so you energetically rise up to a higher light frequency. She delivers powerful insights in condensed time to accelerate your evolution. She is intuitively connected to your highest possible outcome and recognizes your value and talents. She understands how to make the most of your unique potential. Lisa works with your individual strengths to make your success flow with ease. Through her powerful programs, activations, and channeled messages, Lisa will guide you to crystal clarity so you can amplify your superhuman manifesting abilities. She is internationally recognized in the world of business, spirituality, marketing, and manifesting. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Wow.
It's a mouthful, but you are so deserving of everything. I have to say that I have known you as a business coach. You used to do a lot of free content on Facebook. And before I even knew anything about how I wanted to start a business, I was attracted to you and I followed your journey and I've learned so much. And you're so giving. I love what you have created, and you keep going like the Energizer Bunny a little bit.
And behind the scenes, it doesn't feel like I've been going, but I used to. Like in 2018, 19, I was on that go, go, go. And yeah, my life has just really opened up in the last couple years and shown me that that's not the way to operate and there's another way. And giving myself permission to just be more and allow what comes through me has been magical.
I love that because the pandemic was super stressful for so many women,
Yeah.
and they ended up bearing the brunt of, in many times, carrying the relationship, as well as working, as well as taking care of the house and the children. And it was a lot. And a lot of women left their jobs or whatever it was that they were doing in order to stay at home. And now they're ready to figure out what it is that they want to do. And so I figure you are the person to help women do this because you've been helping me. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, the pandemic really on a higher level really gave us all the permission to be more, to be with ourselves and to get to know who we were and what's important for us, and to really look at the life that we had and feel into, is this really what I'm here for? Is this really what I want? Am I, because when you're in the busy, you're doing your work and you're, doing the house and you've got your relationships, your family and all this stuff, your mind is constantly going. And I think this pandemic allowed people to slow down, be with the relationships they were in, assess their life from a different level, and really have time to marinate in that and see what was out of alignment. And a lot of things changed. A lot of things changed in people's lives.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that we're all moving more into our divine feminine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
great. I think that people are going to be intrigued about that. Well, I think many people don't even realize that they have superhuman abilities.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really looking forward to you sharing, is what they are and how you get in tune with that.
Yeah.
So I guess I would ask, how do you activate your superhuman abilities?
Yeah, well, that is what I want to talk about today, because it starts with being able to stand in your truth of who you are and own your uniqueness. I think a lot of us that are doing this entrepreneur journey. We're misfits, in a lot of ways, and that's for a reason. That's for a reason. And the path, the journey, is coming home to yourself and believing in yourself and trusting that your journey is here to do big things, that you are here to do big things simply by being you, simply by embracing you. And when you do that, when you understand how to connect into your signature frequency and add more light into your body, into your field, it's not just your physical body, but into your mental, emotional, and physical and etheric field. When you're adding more light, you have access to infinite possibilities.
Yeah, I think that's true. I would love for you to go deeper on that because I didn't really understand what that was until it started happening to me physically. And I would go to bed and sometimes my legs would be shaking. So just explain what happens to someone.
Well, the whole ascension process it's a process, right? We are here to go through the journey and to let go of the density that we have in our field. And the density looks like chaos. It looks like things not being in alignment. And these are, sometimes we recognize where these out of alignment things are coming from. Sometimes we don't, because they're from past lives, or they're from, really deep buried trauma that we don't even know that we have. And so it's not really that important to understand why. It's just important to recognize that there's heaviness in your body, in your field, in your emotions, and to be able to release that, because when you release that, you leave space for more light to come in.
Yeah, that's big. And so that'll totally change the way that you show up as a human being, right?
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Yeah.
So how do you remove those blocks?
Well, there's lots of different ways to remove blocks. There's, people do hypnosis, NLP, past life regression. There's a lot of modalities. I've always liked to simplify and streamline things, and I have been given a process that it's a 5D light technology. It's like it's not a modality. It's just something that was given to me that actually goes in and uninstalls or decodes the heaviness, the blocks, if you will, the patterns and programs and beliefs and things that are in your DNA, and then reinstalls a new code that goes all the way back through your ancestral lineage to clear and recode. And it's amazing. Like, how do we get to do this? Yeah, we get to do this. This is what's coming in for a lot of people. Are being given technologies that were probably used in ancient times that we have no idea. It's like, wow, it's really cool. And so that to me is a very simple way to clear, because you don't have to go into the pain of remembering or understanding or any of that stuff.
Yeah, which is great because it can be really traumatic to visit some of those memories from childhood where we get a lot of our programming.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And, and awareness is a big piece of the journey, right? The awareness and the observation of you and what you're going through is a big part of the journey too.
That's great. So how do you stand in your infinite power and how should we do it?
Yeah. Well, again, it's all of this is a journey. Some people, the awakening, the click is like instantaneous. Some people, like me, it's been all of my life. Like, it's been a journey all of my life. And so anyway, one of the things that's most important is to own your uniqueness. And again, we've been misfits, most of us. And I know personally, I've always wanted to be normal. Like, that was my thing. What do normal people do? What do and I questioned that throughout my life. I wanted to be normal. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to be a unique expression. And so own that uniqueness instead of resisting it, and fall in love with that truth of who you are over and over again. And just trust the fact that you are a creator being. And when you unveil your signature frequency, when you can get to the core of your divinity, that's when you find a lot of your power. And so to stand in your infinite power, we have to have radical self-love. And it's funny because I remember hearing a lot about self-love online, see a lot of self-love, and it's like, I just really didn't want to look at it because it wasn't resonating with me at the time. It's not, radical self-love is giving yourself permission to be honest with yourself and to be, who you are. It means that we have to clear those blocks that are preventing us, the beliefs, the fears, all those things that stop us from really stepping into who we're here to be, and just move past all that programming and conditioning so we can get to the core. And that's when we start to upgrade our frequency. And that's when, we get to be that shining light that contributes to the world. So, we understand we're all unique expressions of God. We were all given our gifts so that we can shine with them. But a lot of times those are the things we want to hide. Those are the things we want to resent. Oh, that's weird, and that's not what we're here for. We're not here to be all the same. We're here to contribute different parts, different facets of this oneness, of this unity consciousness that people are talking about. And so attuning to that signature frequency, the divine intelligence within you that is outside of thought and form. It's just, it's having faith and trusting in this stuff that we don't know. We're all walking in the unknown. There's so much for us out there. And, we've got to trust. We just have to trust. And when we can shift into a frequency that is high enough to access the different dimensions, that's when we get to play in the magic and the miracles. That's when we get to have the fulfillment and the, whatever, prosperity, fulfillment, all of abundance, all of that stuff that will help us evolve. It's everybody that's stepping into their power is contributing ultimately to the world and the evolvement of the world. But, it's really important also to understand and recognize when you're out of alignment with who you're here to be. And it's a feeling. You'll feel it. Like sometimes you feel it in your full body. It's like, no, that's not me. And, and then when you're in alignment and what that feels like, and that's, where you get to that flow and ease, and that's when you get to stand in your power, and you've given yourself permission to do that. So the more that you embody and integrate these higher frequencies, the more you get to notice when you're out of alignment and when you're in alignment. It's honing the skill of understanding how you are when you're in alignment. And it's a lifelong practice of being, and of being aware too of all this stuff. So this awareness piece is what navigates us towards our highest potential. That's, when we get to be unlimited and we get to be our innate true nature, which is infinite, which is unlimited. So I think, when you own your truth and you play with attuning to this frequency, this signature frequency that is yours, that you get to play in this multidimensional realm, these realms that are opening up for all of us. And this is like, it opens your world up. I mean, right? And this is how you get to create from your superpowers, your superhuman being, turn the abilities, the creation abilities turn on. And this is what's creating this new human that we're hearing about. And this, in the golden age or the new earth or whatever, we are becoming new humans. And we get to access these superhuman powers, superhuman abilities that the new human has. And so, you can play with tools that you already have. A lot of people listening to this probably have lots of modalities and tools and things. You can receive guidance from yourself, from, just going inward and receiving those downloads. You can also work with somebody else that has information that is able to help you. I mean, we are all here to help each other. That's the new value exchange, really, is each person helping each other with their gifts. And so just releasing all that programming that is disempowering, that doesn't allow you to be who you're here to be, and just know that you're able to create your highest potential, this unlimited potential, because you are an unlimited being. And sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around that. And that's when trust and faith comes into play. And we always want the evidence before we actually take the leap or make the decision. And that's not how it works.
Oh, that's for sure.
Right?
I think it's really helpful too if, let's say somebody's watching this, they've had a really difficult pandemic. They think they have a business idea.
Yeah.
What would you recommend that they do so that they can get in touch with what it is that you're talking about?
Yeah, so I really feel like something that's helped me a lot is my journaling. I've been journaling since I was, 15 years old. And sitting with yourself and allowing yourself to be truly honest with what you want and what you're feeling and what's coming through allows things to start flowing. I love journaling because I sit with my crystals and my journal, and I just meditate and allow things to come through, getting in touch with your guides, asking questions. The pendulum has been super helpful for me.
Yeah, for people that have never done these kind of what I consider like woo-woo techniques, I know journaling is a great place to start, but they may not be familiar with how you use a pendulum, or even maybe what their guides are.
Yeah. So the higher the more you let go of shame and guilt and fear and all these lower vibrational frequencies, the more light you can hold, the more of the different dimensions that can come in. There's space for these things to come. There's space for new things to come in. And some of those new things are all of your abilities. And so you may hear something, or you may have a picture form, or you may just get an inspired thought and write that down. And so it's like following little pieces of the breadcrumbs, and things lead to other things and the next thing. But the key is being aware and not just being in the day-to-day routine of everything. It's stopping so that you're creating this space. And I always tell people to do this at the same time every day if you can, even if it's 5 minutes, because that's when you're just like, you're telling the universe that this is what I'm doing and I'm open to receive. And then you get to have a higher level of awareness, and that looks different at different stages of doing this. But you could go into nature. Nature allows you to have the space to dream and to receive messages. I do this. There's you can just to play with things. Like you can look at a tree or a stump, or a flower or whatever, and you could just look at it and see what message comes through. You don't have to be, you could be anywhere on your journey. And start to trust what comes through. Start to trust those little messages, because they are They are seeds or nudges for you. They're pieces of the breadcrumb that lead you to the next thing. So just play with life, get out of the box.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you would include in how a person would navigate the whole journey of coming to their infinite power? I think you've given some really good tools already.
Yeah, I mean, having compassion for yourself is huge, right? You when you go through the process, there's a lot of letting go. And so one of the really good tools is to let the emotions flow through you. If there's an emotion that comes up, acknowledge it. Like, oh, I'm feeling angry, and get angry and feel it. And then thank it, thank you, and let it go through your body, because what we've done for forever recently is we've shoved down our emotions. And that's when things get stuck. That's when we feel stuck. That's when things get buried. And then there's those layers and layers upon layers that need to be cleared. But you can do that when the emotion comes up, or when a fear comes up, or when a resistance, like resistance is huge. There's often resistance that's right in front of your nose that you go, that's not real. And you push it to the side, and it keeps coming back. And you're like, nah, that's not for me. And that thing is what is keeping you stuck. If you were to clear that thing, just acknowledge it and get curious about, why am I resisting even thinking about this thing? I think curiosity is key. Awareness and curiosity being really.
It's really interesting that you say that, because one of our other speakers said that he thought that when you think you found your purpose, you probably haven't until something like resistance comes up, because it's the resistance that's trying to get you to push through that so that you can, well, like you say, achieve these more infinite powers so that you can become more.
Yeah. It's yes, the resistance. And then there's also a theme that goes through your life. One of the things that you can do is you can take a piece of paper and just draw a timeline, and maybe put a mark at every 5 years of your life, and you can look at that and remember what was going on, and what are some of the things that really lit you up, and what are some of the things that maybe disappointed you, or that you couldn't, that you were afraid of, or that you people were talking about you, or whatever it is. The good and the not so bright things are what you want to write down on each of those timelines. And you'll start to see a thread that goes throughout your life, that is a lesson for you to achieve. That's part of your purpose. I mean, our purpose is to come back to our own divinity and be love. Basically, that's our purpose. But in order to serve, we're here to contribute our wisdom, our lessons, the lessons that we've learned. And in order to do that and feel really good about it, it's really getting in tune with, what is that lesson that comes up over and over and over again in my life that I've had to deal with, that I've had to create some experiences around, and I've gained some wisdom in. That's what you're here to share. That's your service mission.
That's really good. Yeah, I think that once you've dealt with it over and over again, you've come up with tools, and then maybe you realize that you have a limiting belief, or you need to learn how to set boundaries and change your life. So you've talked about anchoring and embodying the multidimensional frequencies. What is that, and how do you do it?
So it's not hard. But what we need to do is, so a lot of times people are very disconnected from their body as they start to learn about all these new techniques, and they want to fly around up in the higher realms, which is really fun. But we're here to be in our body. We're here to be humans, and we're here to use our senses and use those to contribute to the world ultimately. And so we have to anchor in those higher frequencies into our body. And that's when we start to embody the higher frequency and start to live in the higher dimensions. So consciously anchoring them could be as easy as speaking or singing or listening to music or dancing or being creative. Those are all things that help to anchor in the higher frequencies. Those are all higher frequency, being in joy, whatever brings you joy is a way to anchor in that frequency. So if the frequency is, let's say, joy, and it's a high frequency, but it's just you're in joy as you're flying around, that's not going to be helpful for you, because you have to embody that joy. That's how you become the frequency. That's how you are. It's practicing being you. It's practicing what brings you joy. Joy is our navigation system. Joy and love are the higher frequencies. And when you are enjoying something, and when something's really easy, that's your thing. It's not supposed to be hard. We most of us that are entrepreneurs have come from a field where we had a skill. We had something that we were good at. And a lot of people starting a business want to bring that skill because it's comfortable, it's safe, it's familiar, and they can do it. They've got it. They don't have to think about it. But that's not what this journey is about. And so the skill, you could use parts of the skill, like facilitating. I was a leader. I'm a leader now. I like to facilitate. I like to do that now. There are certain things from my old, career that I bring in, but it's not the thing that you were doing. And that really, I've seen that over and over again, where it prevents people from actually stepping into the truth of who they are and what they're here to do, because that's just a mask, if you will, that you've worn. That's your personality. That's your role. That's what you did. And it's letting go of that attachment. It's letting go of attachments, period, so that we can be free to move in. And I think, a lot of times what happens is when we're going through the process of learning, we have these great experiences and we're in bliss and we're like, yay. And then life comes around and like, hey, well, you got to pay this bill and the credit card company's calling, and, you're got to, whatever, grandma's sick, whatever it is. And then you come crashing down because you're going through the process of trying to balance those frequencies within you. And when you come crashing down, it's because you're allowing the fear or the denseness of these heavy frequencies to run your life, basically. So clearing, that's why clearing is so important. And I think, just life happens. But when you are acting in when you are embodying a higher frequency, that stuff doesn't happen. That chaotic stuff just doesn't happen. And that's where we all want to get to, where things are in flow and ease, and we're in the vibration of love and joy more often than we're in the fear. And fear is really just going, come on, this is where you need to go. You need to walk right through it. It's just fog. Just walk right through it.
That's a great way to explain it, like fog. I hope that people understand that the planet is doing like a huge correction right now, that the energies are, well, maybe you want to explain it because you're much more of an expert than I am. Why are these things happening?
Yeah. So what's happening is Mother Earth herself is ascending. Like, we're all ascending. We're all changing. We're all getting these light codes that are changing our body physically, emotion. And that's why the emotional stuff needs to be cleared. The mental stuff needs to be cleared. We are going into a process where of course our mind is important, but we're living from our heart. When we can live from our heart and act from our heart, the mind is just like a tool that we can use. but it's no longer living from that, I've got to do this and I should do this and I need to figure this out. You don't have to figure it out. You need to allow it to come to you.
Right. Now, what practice do you use to get somebody from being up in their head, where we are most of the time, to come down in their hearts? Do you have any tips on that?
Well, there's a lot of ways to do this. I mean, you can do yoga, you can do breathing exercises, you can do meditation, you can go out and sit under a tree in nature and just look at the perfection of nature itself. I mean, I remember I was walking in the woods with my sister and I saw this tree that was beautiful, but it was completely bent. It was like it was not a normal tree. And it just got me thinking, like, we judge. We judge. We're conditioned to judge things that don't look the same. And that's why we're afraid to step into who we really are and show our uniqueness, because we're afraid of being judged. And this tree came up and I'm like, that just proves to me that our uniqueness is our beauty, is our brilliance, is our thing. Like, we're meant to be. So go and sit on it, go out in nature and just look at the perfection of everything and how beautiful everything is, even when it's not perfect. I think that's a really good exercise. Any kind of movement, any kind of breath work, any kind of anything where you can get into a state where your mind is clear. One of the ways to do that very simply is, well, we can just do it real quick. Do you have like a minute?
Sure, that'd be a great idea.
Yes. So just have everybody close their eyes and just take a couple of really deep breaths, just really cleansing breaths. Just focus on your breath. Do that a couple more times. When things come in, stories or pictures or whatever, just, acknowledge them and just go back to the breath. And I want you to imagine any shape and any color that you want, and just put them inside your mind. Doesn't matter where, just put them inside your mind. And with each breath that you take, imagine that colored shape gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's getting big enough where it's going into all the nooks and crannies in your mind and just coating everything in your mind, all around the outside edges and in the middle, starting to fill the middle with that color and shape so that everything in your mind is that color. Just take a minute to look around inside your mind and look at the color. You can look at the front, the back, the sides. You can look at the top and the bottom. Just notice that everything is filled with that color and the shape is gone. It's just your mind is filled with color. And you could breathe that color out and clear your mind. Just take a big breath and clear that out. And open your eyes when you're ready. I remember the first time a mentor did that with me, and it was the first time I ever quieted my mind. And I don't know if that's the experience you had, but that's the experience that I had. And I give that to beginning students who are just learning how to quiet their mind. Because when you're doing that exercise, you're really not thinking about anything but the color and the shape. So those thoughts that keep racing through your head go away. And that's one way you can if you're up in the middle of the night thinking about taxes or whatever it is, you can kind of do that exercise. The other exercise is box breathing, where you take a breath and hold it for a certain period of time, let's say 4 seconds, 8 seconds. And then you take a breath, you hold, and then that's 8 seconds of the breath, hold for 8 seconds, let go for 8 seconds, let it go. I mean, just, hold it for 8 seconds and then let it go, and keep doing that box breath. So in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold. And that helps quiet the mind a lot. You're
Those are,
actually, huh?
those are both really good experiences. Yeah, I had never done the color in the mind though. That was new to me. It's a good one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for,
So I know that you work magic with people. I wonder if you could explain, how does that work?
so part of the magic that I do is just using my intuition. And what I've had to learn is things don't have to be hard. So I used to do the hard work because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. The more I can just use my intuition and feel into things, the more knowing I have, and the more the more magic I can create. And so part of it is using my intuition. The other part is really trusting what's coming in and being asked of me to do and to test and to try, and it works. I mean, a lot of this journey is to have faith and trust. And I remember a time that I was it was like 2018, I think. And I burnt myself out. I had worked and worked and worked and worked too, just hard. And I remember being guided to just walk through the property. And I was like, okay, just guide me to what I'm supposed to be doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm walking around the property. And I was guided to pick up these, we had quartz crystals all over the property. So I was guided to pick up these quartz crystals. And I just kept coming home with pockets full of crystals. And I had no idea what this was all about. But I just trusted the process. And I kept hearing allowing and receiving, allowing and receiving. And that's been a big part of my journey, is allowing things to come up, allowing things to be released, and clearing the space to receive more. And so that whole time period of a couple months was a meditation for me to let go of all the stuff that was in my brain, all the stuff that thought I had to do to become successful, all the stuff that I had been doing, because that's not the way I was meant to be operating. And I kept finding easier and easier and easier ways as I listened to my inner guidance.
That's really good. Yeah, when I think about back in 2018, things are so different now. But I have to say, the people who are still curious about what they're going to do, let's say they want to create an online business,
Mhm.
they think they have to do all the things. Like, I know you've been on this journey. You've done the 5-day challenges, and you've done the Facebook groups, and you've done the podcast. So what advice do you have for someone who just feels overwhelmed?
There's so much information out there. I think it's really important to understand how you operate best and what feels right for you. I love to do little mini human design readings. So human design will tell you how you can market. It tells you how to market. If you look at your design and your strategy, it will tell you what the best way for your energy flow is. And sometimes it's outreach, and I did a lot of outreach. That's not my energy type, but I tested a lot of different things. I did all the things. And what I recommend is that you find what delivery system you like. How do you like to work with people? And don't let people tell you what to do. Really check with your inner guidance and find out, do I like to work with people one-on-one? Like, is that important to me? Or do I like to facilitate groups? Or do I like to just be the back end person and really not have to do anything? So that'll tell you if you're meant to do courses or if you're meant to do, one-on-ones or groups. And how do you want to structure your day? It's really important to have time to be. And when you're starting your business, you think you have to do all these things, and you don't. You just don't. What you need to do is build relationships, get to know people, share your heart. You'll be directed to where you need to be if you're not doing all the things. When you're doing all the things, you're distracting yourself from what you're really here to do. And I found for me, the best way to grow my business is through collaborations, because most people love people. I love people. And if you're an entrepreneur, you love people, right? And you want to help. And so being able to collaborate with people helps you get in front of other people's audiences. So you get to, show up and be your unique self. And so speaking on podcasts or speaking in groups or networking, but it's really important to find your people. If you're networking in a thing, in a group that nobody understands you, that's not going to feel real good, and they're not your people. So everything should feel good. Everything should feel good. And of course, there's things we have to learn, and that may not be so fun. But if you keep your eye on what you're here to contribute to the world, and you just give and you give, your abundance will come in. It may not look like what you want it to. It may not be a 7-figure business, but maybe you have another thing come in that is your support, that helps you do the work that you're here to do. It's, it's all about giving and receiving, and learning to receive, learning the value that you have.
That's really good. I think another thing too is, well, first off, I hope you never find your normal, because I think you're just absolutely perfect the way you are. But we have to be willing to play the end game, because I followed you for such a long time and took advantage of all of your free information before I ever connected face to face with you. And so if you're selling a product, just know that there are people who eventually are going to want to work with you, but they're just not ready yet. They have to grow into that person who can really benefit from it.
Yes. And the thing is, what's not working now is all the old paradigm teachings, all the ways of the masculine ways of doing things. This not working. We're really here to tune into what is right for me. And I cannot tell you how much money I've spent and how many courses I've taken over the years. And of course you learn, right? You learn, but what you learn is, that's not me. That's not how you take little pieces and nuggets here and there, and it's important to have guidance. It's important to have mentorship. It's important to try things that feel aligned. But what happens on this journey a lot is that nothing's working. And so maybe this thing will work, and I'm going to buy that, and I'm going to take this course. And oftentimes it sits on your computer. So get in front of the people that are like-minded, that feel like you, that think like you, that want to co-create with you. That's what this age is about right now, is co-creation. We're not meant to do things all by ourselves. It's not how we create momentum. You got to have people, and you've got to build relationships and put yourself out there and show up as the truth of who you are.
Oh, I love that. And that's what you call your infinite power.
Yes.
And so I think that a lot of people are looking for their tribes right now. So do you have any advice around either creating a tribe that is about yourself, or about finding the right tribe?
Yeah. And again, human design can be a great tool for you to kind of figure out who you are in the world, and how are you a leader, or are you supposed to respond to people and be part, are you, all of the tools that we have, astrology, human design, the gene keys, all those things are really good to understand who you are, and really to validate the things that you already know about yourself. But those can tell you if you're meant to be a leader or just be part of something. For me, people that invite me into things, I know that if I'm invited and it feels good, it's right for me and it's going to be successful. If your energy type is the type that is the person that reaches out to people, then that's great. That's how you can, you see something, it's like, that's great. Maybe your energy is a type to respond to people and you're like, I see this thing and people are inviting people to join and it feels really good. This looks like my people. Know who your people are and collaborate with other people who have those people in their group too. That's the best thing I can say is you want to get in front of the people that you're here to serve. And if you're serving these people and somebody invites you on a podcast over here that's serving a completely different, group of people, it's really not gonna help you shine. You're not gonna feel good. I've been on podcasts before that were not. I was just invited and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do that. And it was not in resonance with me. And I did not feel like I shined and it was not a good feeling. So really be yourself and hang out with like-minded people is what I can say.
Oh, I love that. Yes. And I can tell that you belong here
Thank
for
you.
sure. And I think that what your message is really going to resonate. And you're giving away an incredibly generous gift. If people click on the link below, tell us about the intuitive clarity call that they can receive from you.
Yeah, so I love to do these because I think they're very helpful for people to understand. Something happens when we're asked questions and we have to respond. It clicks differently in our brain. And so during the call, I'll ask you some questions and we'll just kind of really understand where you are and what's holding you back. And so we'll kind of like pull those pieces out of what's really holding you back. And a lot of times, like you'll get information on some answers to your questions. Like a lot of times I find that people are not really doing what they're here to do. They're not, and so it's not working. And so understanding, even just pulling that apart and saying, oh, I need to look at that is so valuable, so helpful, because you could be going on this road for years when it's really not resonating with you, it's not working, and you just need to shift a little bit this way. And so it's really looking at the alignment that is in your business. Are you aligned to your business or what you want to do? And then what are the blocks that are keeping you from either starting or having results or wherever you are in your journey? So that's what we do in the call.
That sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like magic.
Yeah, it's really fun. It is really fun.
So this seems like a good place to end it, but I wonder if you have any last tips for somebody who is a little bit confused about what their future is.
Yeah. We're just in this big playground right now where we all get to play at a different level than we ever have before. And we are all being asked to just, it's like walking in a dark room where you're kind of like feeling your way forward. That's what we're doing. We're not supposed to know anymore. We're not in control anymore. We're here to listen to guidance and to feel our way forward. If it brings us joy, if it's easy, if it's like something you like, these intuitive clarity calls, I love them. I don't have to do anything hard. It's like it's my natural ability. And so it's super fun. And so find your natural ability and do that thing, because that's what's going to be easy, fun. It's going to light you up. And when you're lit up, that's when you attract other things into your life at that same resonant frequency. And so that's why it's really important to come home to yourself and stand in your power. Be you. Be proud to be you. Share your heart. I think I'll just mention one more thing. I think a lot of people get really confused about, well, I don't want to be out there on social media, you know, spilling my beans of all the stuff that's going on. You don't have to. That's not what you have to do. What's beneficial to people is to share your wisdom. And that could be from a story. Stories are great. It doesn't have to be where you're stuck right now. It could be a story that you have overcome an experience in the past that you have gained wisdom from, and this relates to what you're teaching.
That's excellent. Yeah, like the hero's journey or heroine's journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so if people come to work with you, where should they find you?
So right now my website is under construction, so it's not available. They can find me, I'm trying to think the best place. My email is probably the best place, and it's lisa@crystalclearbranding.com. And I think that's the best place for people to get in touch with me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on, LinkedIn is another place people can, Facebook, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all the platforms. So whatever platform you want, you can, send me a friend request or connect with me. That would be great. And yeah, I'm just without a website right now.
That's fine. I mean, websites are optional nowadays anyway, I think. Yeah. The thing about Lisa is that she's really approachable. And if she says that she's going to be available, I find that that's really true. And you can ask her questions, and she shows up in her truth every day in her infinite power.
Thank you. It's been a journey.
It certainly has, but thank God you're sharing it on the way, because you're helping a lot of people, including myself. So
thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much, Barbara, for inviting me and letting me share.
thank you for being here. All right, everybody, say goodbye to Lisa.